Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Advice I give people is just paint what you love. So we're painting He-Man as a toy, the toy He-Man figure. So here I am. It's weird. This pandemic has made me go back to a lot of the things I used to enjoy before work and life got in the way. And one of the things that I adored as a kid, and I still do, is figures, action figures. I have thousands of them. Don't tell the girlfriend; she gets very annoyed at how many toys I have. The first thing that got me into comics and superheroes and everything was He-Man. He-Man was my thing. I was like 4 maybe when it came out, maybe even younger than that. But I had all the figures. I still have all the figures. I have Castle Grayskull. I have them all. So this property is very important to me, and I was obsessed with the figures, probably more than the cartoon. And as I've got older, you see the age in the cartoons, but the figures are still absolutely spot on. So I decided I wanted to start painting these things, these childhood memories, these things that to me are precious. So here we are, we're painting He-Man, the figure, the action figure from the 80s. Yes, I am old, if you didn't know. I go on about that a lot. I think I've got a problem. Anyway, so let's talk about the painting. The figures are amazing. They've got these soft heads and they've got these hard bodies, but they're also got weird proportions. I mean, He-Man is weird proportions. It's it's a homoerotic muscle man who kicks people's asses by having a big sword. So the proportions are weird, but obviously it went on to become the norm in the 80s, the Schwarzenegger and stuff, and obviously not so much nowadays. But he's still He-Man, and I'm pretty sure I had that haircut when I was a kid. The painting, let's talk about the painting, because you're not here for me to ramble on about muscly men. We are going to look at the painting. What I did for this one is I drew it, shall I say, with a tablet on the computer, because I wasn't really sure how I was going to do this, because I couldn't do my normal style to this, because my normal style works on eyes and lips and hair and those features that are not on figures, especially figures back in these days. He-Man's face is just a dot. So I decided to make it pop art, to divide it into these tones, and that's what we've got here. And as you can see here, look at the mess of that face. I really messed up He-Man's face at the beginning. I mean, it's looking at it now, it's shocking. There we go. Get rid of that. This painting was a struggle. I really struggled because I was painting something that's flat, something that doesn't have, like I say, the features that I rely on to save a painting, and I wanted it to look like a figure. So I wanted that sort of plasticky look, that very rigid look that figures have. Here we go. I'm figuring out the face. It took me a while. I went away and drew it a few times in pencil, and then I've gone back over it there in a Posca, so I can see it, and then going back in with the tones. He's got a really weird face because, again, it's just molded plastic. It's just one color, and I didn't want to draw the features with black. I wanted it to still look like plastic, so it was just drawing the shade. So I was literally just drawing the shade that was going to make the impression of the nose, which is kind of what I do normally, but this time it seemed much harder because there wasn't a structure. It was just a bit of plastic. And I wanted it to look like a bit of plastic. I didn't want this to look like a painting of a figure. I wanted it to look like the figure. Does that make any sense? No, of course not. You could paint a figure or a toy and make it wishy-washy, or like an oil painting, and have all the different tones. But I wanted this to look pop art, and I wanted this to look plasticky, and I wanted it to look 80s. So that's how I did it, and in the end divided it into 2 tones. Everything's in 2 tones. The legs, the boots, the loincloth, everything's one shade, then with another shade on top. So let's talk about the painting, shall we? What can I say? It's a limited colour palette. Trying to get the colour palette as close to the figure as possible. I think probably I've gone a weeny bit darker than it should have been, but I was using what paint I had, and the mixes, I think they've got the loincloths and stuff right. The axe, it was so important to me to have the bend in the axe. Now, if you had these figures as a kid, or have bought them since to add to your collection, the stupid axe was always bent, always. And for me, the sword always was chewed on the end. Maybe that should be another version. So it was important to me to get that little bend in the axe. So it's just there, just seeing the little hilt just over the side. And then the shield's quite hard to do, actually, mainly because of the hand. It just slips over a flat hand. And the hands on this were actually quite difficult. I did find them very difficult. And other problem was all my He-Man figures, because again I had them when I was like 3 or 4 or something like that. I seem to have chewed a lot of the hands. I don't know why I did that. I've ruined a lot of them. Beastman's hand is roughly just completely flat where I've chewed it. Kind of like me chew a pen lid. So yeah, that's annoying. Anyway, so as you can see there, I've just gone back in and completely got rid of what I'd done on the what do you call it, tunic, because I'd done it the wrong way around. I put the light shade underneath and I was painting the dark shade on top. I don't know what I did. My brain farted there. So I've painted that out, and also painted out the cross, the emblem in the middle, and then going back in with the Posca. The belt was also a big pain in the ass. I repainted this thing multiple times. I found the belt really difficult. I don't know why. I think again it was the colour. I was trying to copy the colour of the figure, not the colour it should be. And the figure, it's just this really horrible orange. And trying to work with orange, I don't like orange. Orange and yellow, which of course the yellow hair again, hate those colours to work with because there's wig pigments and just always look a bit crap. But yeah, you'll see in a minute I get rid of the belt and do it again. I think I did the belt about 4 times. I think I filmed 3 of them because it gets to the point where you go, I can't film this, I need to concentrate. Where are we? There we go. Goodbye belt. So I've toned that down because that orange was too reddy and it needed to be more goldy. In the cartoon it's yellow, blah blah blah. You know, the figures back in the day, the turtle figures, especially the turtle figures, they didn't look anything like the cartoon, and the He-Man figures looked a bit more like them, but they all have the same body. Every single figure had the same body with just a different spray paint on it. Do you want to talk about the paint? Yeah, why not, Steve? All right, cool. Now on the tunic, whatever that thing's called, we're just adding the highlights. I've swapped around now. I'm doing it correctly. Well done. And that's given it a lot more 3D shape, which it didn't have before because I did it wrong. Doing the same there with the shield, and over to the axe. Really, he should have had his sword in his hand because that's what he's famous for, but the figure came with the axe, and the axe always fitted in his hand better, so I put the axe in there a lot. Does he even use the axe in the cartoon? I'm going back 40 years now, so I don't remember if he did. Because I think even Skeletor came with an axe, didn't he? No, he didn't. He came with his little staff. What am I talking about? You don't care, unless you're really into He-Man. If you're really into He-Man, hi, let's talk about He-Man figures. I've still got all of mine from a kid. I did sell a lot of the She-Ra collection when I was desperate for money for a house deposit, but I kept nearly all the He-Man ones. Well, all the He-Man ones, got rid of all the She-Ra ones. Back into the hair with the old yellow, the worst colour in the world. Here we go. Now, that's all the eyes are, a bit of black, and the mouth is just a bit of white. That was so difficult to get right. I had to hold everything inside of me not to do nostrils, not to do cross-hatching. Everything that I normally do, I had to stop myself from doing. I'm going over the outline of everything in black to make it, obviously that's not there really, but it's to pop it out, to separate it from the background, the white background. And then I'm using the black just to put a weeny bit of shadow detail where there would be some around the tunic where it's coming out from the body, around where you see where the boots connect to the legs, and also the arms are all articulated, so there is that little shadow gap there. See, in the articulation on the arms connecting to the body, legs connect to the tunic, to the loincloth, they're all there. So I wanted to put that line in to show it's a figure, it's a toy. This is not real. You wouldn't really have that line there where your arm connects to your body. Oh, we're done. That was quite good. Oh, excellent. And there he is. You can see little lines there on his head, on his arms there, around the tunic, just where the connection points are, where it wobbles around. And there he is, He-Man. The figure, the action figure from the 80s, the one that I loved so much as a kid, the one that I remember, my first version, I left in a newsagent's when I was a kid. I remember, one of my worst memories when I was a kid, remembering losing my He-Man figure and my mum having to buy me a new one. Anyway, so there he is, He-Man. The figure, the painting, the toy, the memories, the nostalgia, all that type of stuff. I love this painting so much, and I think we're going to have to do more of these childhood toys. Remember, I'm old. I won't be doing things like Power Rangers or Square Pants Bums Bobs. I'll leave that bit in. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.